This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution, reporting from Emilia Romagna on the production of Parmigiano Reggiano, otherwise known as Parmesan. Here we are at a dairy in Emilia Romagna, all dressed up in our super hygienic outfits there, and the morning milk is just being delivered. The morning milk is unpasteurized and is added to the evening milk that has been naturally settled, therefore naturally skimmed, added to these copper vessels with some rennet, the enzyme rennet from calves' stomachs, and it's heated up to 33 degrees. What happens with the aid of that enzyme is the milk solution with the rennet begins to form into curds and whey, as you can see here. Each one of these copper vessels holds 990 litres of milk. And that's enough to make two large Parmesan wheels. Here we can see the temperature raising up. These special custom implements for stirring the curds and whey. And the curds, the solid component, begins to fall to the bottom of the copper vessel. The whey, the liquid, coming up to the top. This lady here getting quite up close and personal with her curds and whey, whereas this gentleman a little bit more hands-off with a ladle. You can see that's quite warm. After 3 minutes at 33 degrees, the curds form a curd cake at the bottom of the copper vessel. These gentlemen using a very particular custom knife to cut the curd cake into two parts. Each one of those parts will eventually become a Parmesan wheel. They take the curd cake, split in two, out of the whey, and suspend it above that whey in muslin sacks to allow it to drain a little. All of this whey does not go to waste. Traditionally, it has been transported to a nearby farm and used to feed the pigs that go on to produce prosciutto di Parma. So no waste here. This does look like quite hard work. And I have to say, each block of curd there actually takes half a ton of milk to make, so it's a milk-intensive process, and gives you some idea why Parmesan does reach such a premium price. So these halves are taken out in these muslin cloths and forced into these Teflon molds that you can see behind, these white Teflon molds. They imprint a very particular imprint onto the outside of the curd cake. These are also weighed down to get rid of any excess fluid, and after about 24 hours in these Teflon cases, these ones here, and a big heavy weight on top, are put into metal molds. These actually form the cheese into the shape that we know. Here you can see the imprint, each and every dairy having a very specific imprint on it, so that one can tell the provenance of one's cheese. Actually, you can do it very, very quickly now, as each Parmesan has a QR code on it. After 3 days in these metal shaping molds, the cheese is then moved to brining tanks, where it spends a month in water at almost total salinity, being made saline by Mediterranean sea salt. This greatly contributes to the texture, the flavor, and the aromatics of the eventual Parmesan. After the brining tanks, it's moved to the aging cellars. These aging cellars are at a very particular temperature and a very particular humidity. Unfortunately, some mold does begin to accumulate on the outside of the cheeses, and this has to be combated in some fashion. Many dairies have these rather fantastic robots which go around the aging cellars and take the cheese like so and brush the exterior, getting rid of any accumulation of mold, and then turn the cheese over and place it back on the shelf. Actually, a very good idea, because I cannot imagine that this would be very much fun to do manually. When one begins to think of the number of cheeses within a cellar like this and the premium cost of Parmesan, it really is mind-boggling. Apparently, 1 in 10 items stolen from Italian grocery stores are Parmesan. After 10 or 11 months aging, it's over to the head cheesemaker.
Oh, bugger. Oh. Hold there. My name's Barry, and I'm the head cheesemaker here around these parts. I'll tell you something, I love Parmesan. I love it. So much so that I dedicate my life to it, and I have the job of checking to see if this Parmesan is any good or not. Now, let me tell you something. Oh, excuse me. Yes, so my job is I take this wee hammer. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back a wee bit. The cheese is brought in here after it's been brined and it's aged for 10 or 11 months in this special room. In this room, it's about 80% humidity, and that's perfect. So, what I do is I take my wee hammer. My wee hammer is my instrument to check that it's quality, and I listen for vibrations and sounds, and that gives me a clue to whether it's good or not. So, watch. Here we go. You go bang, 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 all the way around the cheese like this. On one side, along the side, up the other back of it. Oh, yeah, you see that? And I can tell. I've been doing this for so long, that I can tell by the noise. Normally it takes about 80 wee bangs there for me to work out if it's any good or not. And let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, this Parmesan I have here is top-notch stuff. And it's now ready for sale.
Well, thank you for your valuable insight there, Barry. When we were speaking of the real deal, that is, Parmigiano Reggiano produced in Emilia Romagna, like this cheese here, we are speaking of a very complex cheese. Aromatically, the cheese has so many aroma-active compounds, various aldehydes and butyrates, but on the palate also, the cheese is very, very high in glutamate, second only to Roquefort in the cheese world actually, therefore giving Parmesan its incredibly high umami factor. This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. Thank you very much, and bye for now.